One of the best parts of a Spanish party or fiesta is smashing a piñata and trying to fill your hands with as much candy as you can before everyone else gets to it. I made 3 simple piñatas last year for my Spanish class, and I have gathered information from several websites in order to clarify the specifics of making a piñata. Today I will show you the steps in making a piñata. First, we'll talk about the characteristics of a piñata, what you will need to make one, the steps of making a piñata, and things to avoid in the process. Now for the characteristics of a piñata. The original piñata had 7 tips as shown here in the photo. According to pinatagallery.com, the 7 tips represented the 7 deadly sins: hubristic pride, greed, lust, malicious envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Today I will explain how to make a simpler piñata derived from this tradition. If you want to make a piñata, you will need quite a few items: a balloon, lots of newspaper, flour, water, a mixing bowl, decorative tissue, glue, a knife, rope, and candy. Before you begin working, just in case a messy accident happens, lay some newspaper across your work area. The first step in making a piñata is inflating the balloon. You want to avoid making the balloon a small size because the piñata will be very fragile and will not have much stability. The next step is to cut strips of decorative tissue and newspaper as shown in the picture. Set these aside because you won't glue them on until later. Now you will make a papier-mâché substance by mixing flour and water in your mixing bowl until a smooth paste is formed as shown in the picture. Recover the newspaper strips that you put off to the side earlier. Then, dip the strips into the mixture until they are dripping with paste. Slide 2 fingers down the strips to get rid of the excess paste as shown in the picture. Avoid having too much paste on them or else your piñata will be very messy. Once they're coated, stick the strips onto the balloon one by one until the whole balloon is covered, excluding a section at the top of the balloon near the knot. Let the balloon dry and then repeat this process for 2 or 3 layers. The more layers, the sturdier the piñata. Avoid adding too many layers because the piñata could become unbreakable. This next step here is the most challenging and important step in the whole process. Glue the strips of tissue in an organized line across the balloon so that when the piñata is hanging, the strips hang in an appealing and neatly manner. Use different colors of strips to make the piñata stand out. According to pinapinatas.com, each color had a meaning to the Chinese according to the celebration. After the decorating is finished, if the balloon is not already popped, pop the balloon and remove it from the inside of the piñata. Now you can cut 2 holes out of the top of the piñata with the knife. Feed the rope through one hole to the inside of the piñata and then out the other hole. Now you will be able to tie the rope in order to hang the piñata. For the last step of making a piñata, fill it with all different sorts of candy or fruit. According to tripsavvy.com, piñatas are traditionally filled with candies and fruits that represent the riches of the kingdom of heaven. You can close the hole at the top with decorative paper afterwards if you wish, but it does not have to be done. Here are some things you should remember to avoid during the process: proper inflation of the balloon, excess paste on newspaper strips, and too many layers of newspaper strips on the balloon. You should now know the fundamentals of making a simple piñata. You should be aware of the characteristics of a piñata, the steps in making one, and the common mistakes in doing so. Making a piñata takes practice in order to perfect it, so make a few before you need to make one for a party. Once you do master the skill of making a perfect piñata, people will really enjoy breaking your piñata at the fiesta, rather than someone else's dull and languid piñata.